Let's go.
Let's go, you man.
Let's go. But in the video, Z York talks about before he gets locked up, he says that he has forsaken God and it's time that he returned to God. And he said when he taught against God, he was possessed by demons. And he said only a demon would teach against the Creator. And he said now that I'm against my demons, I'm going back to my Creator. And the guy says, what about the pyramids? He said, how you going to question me when I'm the one who taught you, nigga? So now, one of the problems we have in the Kemetic community is that everybody that's teaching this stuff really don't believe in it. The problem with our brothers over here is that they were about to shed their elders and kick them to the curb. And the reason why they're going to do this is because they know Malachi Z. York is no longer a Nubian or believes in Kemet. They know Dr. Ben is still a practicing Jew, Reggie will tell you. Ray Higgins is a snitch. So now it's time for us to continue. Let's go. Histories of Herodotus. Here and then they reckon 106 years during which they say that there was nothing but evil for the Egyptians. And the temples were kept closed and not open during all the time. These kings of the Egyptians, by reason of their hatred of them, are not very willing to name them. They even call the pyramids after the name Philetus, the shepherd, who at this time passed their flocks to those regions. I want you to look at this carefully because you was taught that the Egyptians built the pyramids. I know you can't read, but the sources of histories of Herodotus, brother. The 128, brother. Don't stop that foolishness with me this time. But even Sheikh Anti-Diop in the introduction of Exodus or Kemet Revisited, he states that the Egyptians didn't even build a pyramid. Even Ivan Van Sertima himself said the Egyptians didn't build a pyramid. So why have you been lied to all this time? What is phi? Phi has come to be called the golden ratio because there is a certain group that had the ability to bring forth information and build pyramids. Let's listen. Phi has come, let's go back. Phi has come to be called the golden ratio, God's number. It is a proportion found in nature, the human body, etc. Phi 1.618. For examples of phalanges on your fingers, the middle phalange is 1.618 times bigger than the first one. And the first and last phalange is 1.618 bigger than your middle phalange. Watch. Using the Pythagorean theorem, we come up with the golden triangle with the height of the square root of 5 based on 1 and a slant of 5. Taking the ratio of the base of the height, we get a ratio of 0.636. Cheops pyramid has a base of 77.9 at a height of 408.6. Taking the ratio, now mathematicians follow along, taking the ratio of the base of Cheops pyramids and the heights, you again come with a ratio of 0.636, showing that Cheops pyramid indeed is a golden triangle built with phi in mind. Continue. When we look at the numbers 2 in the Bible, it gives us the number of the 12 tribes surrounding the tabernacle. You have the east, 186,400, west, 108,100, north, 157,600, south, 154,500. When we look at these numbers of gods, divided them by thousand simplicity, we get 18.6, 15.45, 10.1, 15.6, 157.6, which equals 603.55. The time of the sun to revolve around the galaxy is 22 million multiplied by the total of number of gods 3 times is 0, 603.55, 603.55, 603.55 equals 22 million. The The planet characteristic cubes of the orbit times around the sun sums all the planet characteristics to 25.235. Next slide. This is in your scriptures now, because when you keep on reading, the whole measurement for the pyramids is in Numbers, the 2nd chapter. So when you talk about the Egyptians building the pyramids, you're lying to yourself. Eastern numbers and God's relationship, so we can continue to go on to the next slide. Let's go, next slide. Next slide. Next slide. This is the same slide my brother Alwaya shot did. So if you are brothers in the Kemetic thing, there's another subject that speaks about Egyptians sleeping with animals. But you as Egyptian, you're going to cover that up because you're not about what the practice is about. You just want to hear some fly stuff and don't care about the life. Next one. Let's go. Next one. Next one. Next one. Now here you go.
All right. Here we go. Now notice they talk about the white man, right? Now the Egyptians was the first ones to wrestle naked. Now if you notice right here, you see the Konsula, right? Or the Herula. Is that Shaka up there? Okay, it says it suggests a history of crocodile dung. Doodle! Goddamn doodle goes in a woman's vagina. Okay? But yet Egypt is supposed to be so scientific. So clean and pristine. Doodle going up a woman's vagina, man. What kind of woman would you deal with after that? Huh? Next slide. Next slide. Next slide. Now notice this. Okay? The Eber's backwards. Okay, we're going to get straight to the point. Male semen is used as a flavoring agent. What the hell is up with this, man? Huh? Keep going. Keep going. Drink up, Kevin. This is unexplainable. They're gonna try to explain this, but you can't. That's disgusting, man. Next one. Get this out of here. Now you notice, right? The heroes for the night. Carl Stillswick. Amenhotep the first offering lettuce to the god. Now, notice the god's rod is harder than what you can believe. Okay? And notice he put lettuce to his mouth. Now, I don't care how you explain this. Metaphysically, philosophically, or get up here and show the definitions. If I had to do that to y'all, I wouldn't be a Hebrew Israelite. Okay? The Apollo god Amun-Re with the pharaoh and Karnak. The same presentation of a god with a hard rod in his worshipper's face. Next one. Next one.
All right, here we go. Hatshepsut, a female leader in man's clothing. Let's look at this. Based on ancient sculptures, the queen, Hatshepsut, who became Egypt's first female pharaoh in 1479 BC, ruled for 20 years. Sat on her throne bare-chested in a man's kilt with a false metal beard and a headdress adorned with cobras, usually worn by a male pharaoh. So now we have one of the first dykes in history, and we are pushing this, and we think this is okay. Egypt is America. That's Hillary Clinton right there. She might have got converted later. Let's go to the next slide. Oh, explain this. And this is the truth. They're not supposed to be on this computer right now because they're Googling away. But there is no rules and nobody's watching this. Polite got this rigged the way he wants to, so let's keep on going. It appears that Akhenaten and Amun father may have attempted to father children with his first 3 eldest daughters. It is suggested that Akin Anu, second's oldest sister, may have died giving childbirth. This is deduced from the scene found in the royal tomb, which portrays vivid displays of the occurrence of a woman dying through childbirth. It is almost likely that Akhenaten also fathered children from his other 2 daughters. Why are we condoning this? Is it because we like the golden arcs? We like the pyramids that much? We need to worship the Statue of Liberty. We about morality here. If you condone this, then I hope that you and all these people that follow this garbage go down with it. Let's go to the next slide. Why is incest practice? According to Stanford University, your brother like universities over here, but I'm going to tell you something about all the universities he named. Every university and degree is passed down and given is ordained by the Pope. So he's telling you about the curriculum system of a slave master, that in order for you to come up here, you gotta be a slave. Shaka, I'm gonna say I only accept degrees. I don't listen to nobody that don't have a PhD degree. But Shaka almost left high school at 10th grade. And y'all like that, right? Y'all say Israelites don't deal with the information, they only deal with people's behavior. You damn right, because the information is supposed to make your behavior better. And that's why you got this crappy conscious community that's about taking people's money and not doing nothing with it. When I asked them to go to Ferguson, nobody wanted to go with me. One of these conscious brothers, let's go. According to Stanford, go back. Let's use this. According to Stanford University, classic Professor Walter Scheiders, one reason is the incest sets them apart. Royal incest occurs mainly in societies where rulers have tremendous power and no peers, except the gods, since gods marry each other, so should the royals. All of these maladies are thought to have been results of inbreeding, which is father and mother. His father's sister, Zaha Hawass, which is an article, he writes great articles, he actually goes against the Bible at times too. Wrote a National Geographic. In my view, Tutankhamun's health was compromised from the moment he was conceived. His mother and father were full brother and sister. Now see, the difference between what Polite said in the beginning is what people of the lower class did because they were hungry, but these are the people that are the rich, and this is what they're doing. They're the rulers. This is your Ma'at. I'm going to show you. Go ahead. Albert Zink, scientific director of the Institute for Mummies and the Iceman in Italy, uses genetic fingerprinting and tests mitochondrial DNA, which is inherited only from the mother. On this evidence, he showed that Tutankhamun's mother was Akhenaten's sister, according to a Sunday Times report by Fiona Keating. Y'all push this, go ahead. Okay, this is me. This thing right here. The corporate text, spelled 635. Ray has no power over me, for I am he who takes away his breath. Atum has no power over me, for I calculate between his buttocks. Now they're gonna try to translate it some other way, but look at the glyph, it's a penis. They're gonna try to make it a scientific penis, a metaphysical penis, a philosophical penis. That's a happy, mystical penis. That's a heavenly penis. Next slide. Alright, your boy, Jonathan, is about to translate Metonetta. Watch. They say that, yo, Israelites, it's not your fault. We didn't have books for y'all to translate. Y'all want to tell me for 60 years y'all been reading this nasty stuff and only decided to change the translation when we started bombing y'all? But here goes Jonathan, who's about to break down the Metonetta. He says, no, my plans are to learn the language before I take a trip to Kemet. What language is he talking about? I thought he's writing a book for this. The brother he want to learn the Metonetta before he go, but he's putting out a book when he don't know the language. Wow. That's his writing, that's not my writing. That's not slander, that's his slander. Go, next one. Go ahead, big brother. Oh, my bad. I was over here having a conversation with the comedic brother. Okay. The letter translation. They're going to change it. Because guess what? Everybody that Dr. Big quoted, when he quoted his book in the Matabello letter translations, he was quoting Budge. Shaka Amos quotes Faulkner. All of these people have the similar and same translations about the homosexual occurrences in Egypt, but they're so upset they're about to change history and everything, and they got this magical book that's going to make every gay Egyptologist happy again.
Okay, here's another text. It's on their walls. So it says, if there be made a slaughter against me in the rebel festival. Now this is a festival where they didn't have gay things, okay? It says this, against me in a striking of horns, then will a swelling occur in the eye of the jet. Then I will swallow for myself the penis of Ray and the head of Osiris. What the hell is that? What the hell is that? On their wall! On their wall! Wall, yes, sir!
Let's get in the next one. We got to show you something. Let's go. Break this down, Hashar. Please show them
Okay,
something.
here we go. They are very obsessed in Egypt with penises. If you notice this, here's the biggest trend, right? It says the bull, they take the bull's penis together, representing the bull's degenerative system. Now, off the jet was a figure. Now, it goes on. If you see here, this is an actual bull's penis wrapped around bull. Okay? Now, let's see if they check this in KEMET. Now, they're going to show you. Now, notice the symbol. Go to the next slide. Let's see if they got it. Here we go right here. You have their God with the bull's penis in his hand. Okay?
No, that's not a bull's penis. That's a Chicago's bull's penis. It's different, fella.
No. You know what I think that is? I think that's Jonathan's computer. I don't know.
Yeah. That's electronic, the spiritual. They gotta get thumb drive. That's what it is. They invented the first thumb drive.
You right, me wrong. You right.
Go ahead.
That will make me disqualified. Go ahead. Next one.
Hold on, what we brought to the debate was tag team. You notice they ain't gonna tag team, right? All right, Egypt is so deep, right? They so deep. They deeper than every society. Their science was above everybody. Mummies revealed ancient Egyptian heart disease epidemic. Right? Researchers decided to tackle the problem head on by performing a CT scans on the heart of 52 mummies. Out of 44 mummies, they were surprised a bit by just how much arteriosclerosis were found in ancient Egyptians who were young. The average age of death around them in the mummies was 40 years old. This is what you taking us back to? But come on, we got more than this. Ancient Egyptian lifespan. Now that's not accounting of other mummies. Now while there were some Egyptians that lived until their 90s, like King Ramses II, the average life expectancy was mid-30, 33 years old was being the estimate of the average age. Who wants to go back to living to 33 years old? Let's be serious. If their knowledge was so deep, why they couldn't save themselves, man? Use common sense, man. Use common sense. Hold time. Most people like to live over the age of 40. Let's go to the next one. Ancient mummies show even the rich Egyptians. Here's the first human sacrifice you see, but notice you see 4 arcs above the piercing of a man's chest and the bowl catching the blood, right? Here, go to the next slide. Okay, I got it. Sacrifice of the early kings serving for the afterlife. You can read it, we don't have much time. We have 200 and some slides, not enough time to get it, but I want you to look at this. Is it okay to kill your servant because the pharaoh died so somebody can serve his lazy ass in the afterlife? Is that spirituality? Yeah, if that's spirituality, that's why we're struggling in the conscious damn community, because you don't know what spirituality is. Ain't no serving no God, no afterlife and being enslaved. Go. Smiting the enemy scenes of the mortuary. Go ahead.
I don't understand.
Skip it. All right. Ancient Egyptian carving shows the counting of hands. Now, this is my man, the Magi, tried to show you something. He said in ancient Magi's, we took hands and heads. Right. He didn't tell you about the penis that they were taking, did he?
That's right.
He didn't tell you about he didn't tell you about the hot dogs, the favorites. He didn't tell you about the real Hebrew nationals and where they come from. Now, here you go. Why is the priest bringing it inside the temple and counting hands inside the temple? Let's go to the next one. don't need to go. You don't need to. Don't disrupt me. Keep going. All right, here you go. There's a priest in the front counting it in front of Ramses. Then there's a priest that's counting it. He's the scribe. He's the one who's taking it and recording it. And there go hymns behind them that's singing the anthems of the penis. If you look at the D right there, right? You see the loop of the hand because he's forming an arc.
Talk about it.
He's starting to form an arc. I'm going to show you. When you see it in the first picture, when they were taking lives, you see the arc. Because an arc does mean life, but it don't mean the life you think it means. Let's go.
No, man.
Here go the penises right here. A pile of penises. If you can look at it, some of them are filleted. I am not lying to you.
There you go.
Go ahead, next slide. Next slide.
There you go.
Next slide.
There you go.
Next slide. All right, this is about the festival they had. They used to celebrate the missing penis of Osiris. This was a good holiday. Hopefully you can get this off at your job. Next slide. Here we go. All right, next slide. Oh, don't worry about it.
Now you check this out, right?
Look at the article.
Now notice, this article is telling you about Egypt, that they had diseases, sexual diseases, right? Now here's how they, now it was so pristine, how could you catch a sexually transmitted disease? Let's see what they made in Egypt. Go. An Egyptian linen sheet condom, 1000 BC. So when you understand this, if this was a pristine culture without any immorality, they wouldn't have to use their condoms. Okay? Real simple. Real simple. Go.
Next slide.
Now, you see Shaka, right? He's for the black goddess, right? What's the difference between him and their nut?
Yeah, y'all blocking the side.
Huh? What's the difference? There's no difference. Right?
Nefertari was a black woman. Come on, y'all. Nefertari was a black. But he didn't tell you, Moses and Nefertari, they were brothers and sisters. He didn't say that part, little freak, did he? That's in part 2. Next slide. Did Egyptians kill the lie? Yes, the kings lie on their records. We'll get into that later. Go ahead. Continue. Let's keep on going. This is human sacrifices. I brought this out. They're so focused on homosexuality in Egypt, they missed the whole presentation I did last year. Go ahead. Now, let me tell you, this is the Lady of Taperet funeral stela, and it tells you what she has to bring to bring Herakati as a sacrifice to make it into the netherworld. Now, if you look at it, the 2 pillars on the side of the lotus, and they represent, and they're holding up the balance, they're holding up the sky in balance, right? But what do you look at the sacrificial table? You see all the fruits and vegetables, but if you look to the right-hand pillar and the left-hand pillar at the bottom, one of the things that brought Ma'at or balance to the universe was the head, or the sacrificial head of Asiatics. If you look at the bottom, let's continue. This is how you got Ma'at. All right, here goes Akhenaten and his 2 children. You see the hands of a 10 coming down because they're actually coming to receive an offering, and then when they give the offering, they give it back as an ark. They'll give you an ark in favor of your offering, and it's put to the mouth or the nose, but those are his children. What Akhenaten has in his lap is called a kop knife. A kop knife is a sacrificial knife that doubles as a Ma'at knife. Let's go. All right, here goes the kop. It's also found in the cat that belongs to Tutmosis, the cat sarcophagus. And I want to tell you this. Guess what sarcophagus means? It's only found in Greeks and in Egypt. Guess what a sarcophagus means? Flesh eater. Salt, flesh, sarcophagus, eater. The cat is Ra. The flesh repeatedly kills a giant python with a knife, but chopping off his head. Continue, let's go to the next one. The chopped knife is a magical double blade that shapes the feather of Ma'at. He is sometimes depicted eating captive's head. Now, Mahan is depicted eating captive's head. He is first seen on Harris papyrus, and he's known as the devourer of captives. These are their gods, but I want to show you this is a kid's book. I'm getting this from a kid's book. Go ahead to the next one. Who is the cat? The cat is the male manifestation of himself, of Ra himself. And he was called Mu'ah because of the speech of the God who said concerning him. Failure to answer the question correctly resulted to the soul being given to Amen, the devourer of the dead and the soul eater. This is the papyrus of Ani, the devourer of the dead and the soul eater. Listen to all their God's names. Come on, let's go. The papyrus of Nebseni reveals that the knife was usually a ritualistically killed children. Now, if you read the papyrus of Nebseni, it tells you about the children of rebellion, and if you scroll up, it tells you about the kop knife that was used to cut them open. Let's go to the next one. All right, the Tri-State Medical, it tells you where the Egyptian cannibals in recent unearthing, there were found piles of ribs, flesh-scraped bones, showing where human teeth gnawed them. This is Professor Petrie. This is Petrie. Now read the article. article, all right? Let's check this article. Let's go to the next one. All right, here goes Ramsey's wife, and here goes Offset. What does Offset have on her head? She has a vulture on her head. Now in Egypt they tell you a vulture is a nurturing mother, which a vulture is. But that's the romanticism of Egypt. Because what else does a vulture do? Eat dead body. Let's stop playing stupid. All the goddess is called Mu. If you look at a Mu and you look at the two double letter MT for Mu, you see a falcon and a penis. What is the falcon eating? What is the vulture eating? This is ignorance if you think about it. So let's go. But that little sash on her is a sacrificial blood, which is called the blood of Isis. When she links to her sacrificial, when she holds her arm, because the arm is connected to the sacrifices. Go ahead, watch. Pyramid text. Who eats the entrails of even those who become with their bodies full of magic and islands? The Pharaoh of the Lord offering, the knot of the corn, who himself prepares his meals. Pharaoh, he who eats men and lives off of God. Let's go. I got 2 minutes. I got it. All right, pyramid text. I read this last year, and they said it was symbolic, but I'm going to show you it's not symbolic. Continue. It talks about the Lord is eating the throne, extracting the blood from the bodies. It is Shimzu who will cut them off for the Pharaoh and cooks the meal in his dinner pots. Shimzu. Shimzu is the god of the wine press. What do you do with the wine? You crush it and get the blood out the grape. Right? Let's go to Shimzu. Shimzu, the god of execution, slaughter, blood, oil, wine. He punishes the unrighteous by placing their heads in a wine press to remove the blood in the lasso of sinners. I didn't make this up, you fools. Let's go. Pyramid text. Lo, their bodies, I got you. Lo, their bodies and fathers buried. The ox is the possession of the surplus of the meal that's cooked. Y'all don't want to hear this. Watch this. Go ahead, next slide. Wallace E. Budge, right? This is Dr. Ben's daddy, right? The notion that by eating flesh or particularly drinking the blood of another living being, man absorbs his nature or life into his own hands. But the ideal of hunting and roasting and eating the gods as described above is not common amongst the ancient nations. The main object of the dead king is doing this was to secure eternal life, which was particularly attributed to the gods. This is Wallace E. Budge. He's telling you about cannibalism in ancient Egypt. This is a picture of Menhez and Osiris riding on his back. You see the fire coming out of the head of the captains of the Shemitic people. I want you to look at that sign right there on the side. That's a determinative right there. Go to the determinative on the next page. Determinative over the dead people's body is fire, heat, and cook. You gotta learn this stuff yourself. This stuff is telling on itself. This is ignorance. It's just the foolishness we're following. I got 25 seconds. Let's go to the next slide. All right, John Henry Clark said, I could not and would not hurt a fly. Well, dang, he's sure strangling the hell out of this duck right here. Meneptah, the Egyptian pharaoh. This is a whole different pharaoh now. The other one was Ramses that liked to play with the penises. But had inscribed on the walls of the temple to carve out the story and amputation of a 13,000 fly lines of his enemies. Time, let's go.